Hi, I'm Coach Brian, and today we're going to be talking about Productivity 101 and how it impacts your everyday life with work, with relationships, with being at home, everything. We're going to go over a lot of different things here so that you're more equipped, empowered, inspired to make better choices for yourself. So who am I? I've actually been a health coach, a nutrition, fitness, lifestyle. I've owned gyms. I've been a personal trainer. I have an exercise degree all the way back in 2004. So I've had thousands of conversations throughout my time helping people reach their best selves. Young, old, healthy, sick, chronically ill. People know a lot about this stuff or not. So today we have an audio as well going on, and let's jump into sharing this and getting going. All right. Excited to have you today. The comments will be open, the Q&A. So if you have questions, please just ask. It looks like a Q&A box for this one here. So if you have a question, just ask and we'll keep it going. Productivity 101. What is it? How do we stay on top of things despite a really busy world, life, everything that's happening to us all the time? So the contents, the agenda today, key concepts of productivity challenges, and lastly, how do we actually increase our productivity to get more done despite all the ongoing daily stuff that we have? So, key concept of productivity. So let's define this. Now, it's defined as an overall measure of the ability to produce a good or service. So my service is health coaching, nutrition, fitness, lifestyle design. My ability to be productive at getting people shorter, faster, better results is my index of the output that I'm able to do. So the index that measures output, what you get, relative to the input, what you put in. So for my clients to be productive, I'm going to set the stage for them to eat well, to move enough, to create systems and approaches in their everyday life so that they are able to manage everything way better with less effort, to be honest, than they've ever tried or had in the past. Now, in work, it's about producing a good or service, having a team of people that deliver the end product or service to the customer. I have an electrician coming over in the next couple of days to work on a wire and some connections. The goal is he's going to come in, do it effectively, efficiently, in very little time, much better than I am because that's the one DIY I try and stay away from is electricity. So everything else I've got a reasonable handle on. But back to this. So a measure of how specific resources are managed to accomplish timely objectives. So we have two different things. We have quantity, the amount, and quality, the value or the worth of something as well. Productivity is a relationship between the quantity and the quality of the goods or services produced and the quantity of resources to produce them. Let's take this computer, an Apple MacBook Air. This is a good, and then we have a service, Zoom, that we're on, and another product, which is an app that's recording, and all of these things come together to create and produce this experience. And Apple's ability to create something to have the access and software to put us in the same place at the same time, even though we're states away, that's tremendous and something that we've never been able to do in the history of humankind until recently. So it's pretty wild here. I know a lot of people are potentially tired of the Zoom and Zoom meetings and stuff, especially with the ongoing of COVID and remote work and how that pandemic really transformed the world. But this makes for a very useful, productive way to communicate and deliver this presentation or any type of goods or services that your company might be doing. So higher productivity means accomplishing more with the same number of resources, right? How do we get more out of the same or less? The other way to think is achieving higher output for the same input. How do we have one person be able to multitask significantly better to create more value, impact, money collected, customers served, in a sense, to do that? Example, just recently, even from the very first time that I did this, Productivity 101 years ago, AI is now there. So AI can be a means to create more productivity for any one person in any way to help with managing emails or creativity in the email or in being able to find quick, accessible information at your fingertips. Productivity in the workplace. Workplace productivity typically describes the amount of work your staff can do within a certain amount of hours. So certainly there is a finite capacity of your team. The types of systems and abilities, processes that can make them more efficient can then certainly produce more, say, billable hours in a sense in the same amount of time. And this is a way to help monitor and manage the overall productivity of your team in the first place. So it relates to how efficiently your workers accomplish your company's goals and produce goods or services for your customers. Let's just even think of a mission statement for a company. The mission statement says why they exist, what are they in business to do, and then everyone underneath that platform in the company or the customers coming are looking for that to either deliver it or receive that good or service in a timely manner and a high value is what most are looking to accomplish. So measuring productivity, we want to divide the total output by the total input. So the input being labor, hours, resources, machines, energy. It could even be like, say, electricity of the building could be a form of understanding how much you're getting out. And so the output shows the completed projects, the production of the goods, the services, the sales, the number of customers your company is able to support. So if we have every company out there is always looking for less labor, less resources used to have higher outcomes. That creates profitability, and long-term success, or being able to employ people for jobs, or being the business owner, create wealth. So a quick question to think about: what factors affect how productive you are? Well, I have one person chiming in there, how well they slept the last night, right? That's a very, very true statement. The more sleep, the more rested and clarity of mind you can have to be more productive overall. Whereas in the background, if we're not being as productive with everything because of lack of sleep, you're tired, you're fatigued, that 3 p.m. comes around and you want to take a nap. Or you're just not making as good of food choices in the day as you would have if you had gotten more sleep. Another person talks about like being active or eating healthy food. Those are definitive factors on how employees and people in the workforce can improve their productivity or really suffer as well and expend more cost, time, and energy as a result of not being, taking care of yourself. So those are some easy ones that people pointed out. So what are the benefits of actually being productive? Well, we have greater output. Obviously, time is better managed. There's quality products are produced without error. So there's just more efficiency. The customers are happy, right? Things are getting done on time. Customers are happy, more likely to use the products again if you're delivering a good product and service. So they'll be repeat customers, and that's the name of most businesses' game of having repeat business to allow for someone to be able to enjoy the product and use it again. We have happier employees. If everyone on the team is being productive, your morale is definitely going to be up. You're going to feel better about the work that's getting produced in the environment. You're going to be able to understand how to manage this in a every day-to-day, and people are just going to get along and work better together. We have increased motivation. Productive employees are more motivated. They work smarter, provide better services to them. There's less time, more results. The workflow improves. So productive employees can move projects through the business a lot faster, easier, and more coordinated. So we reduce hours or burnout quite a bit, and that being the last one is reducing the burnout and being able to cope with the amount of work, be able to complete the responsibilities on time, and not just a lot of people will definitely not give themselves enough time to be able to produce the service, the outcome that they are looking for, and or by the deadline that's there, and therefore there's a lot more stress, pressure, and challenge. And that's exactly what we're going to speak of next. So productivity challenges. Now, our world of instant gratification is more than ever. Marketers are eager to grab your eyeballs, your ears, your hearts, and your brains to persuade you to do something that they want you to do. Buy something, call something, take action on something, participate in something. All these things are just part of humans operating, and some of it's for really enjoyable things, but also some of it's distractions. So we have our phone, our computer, other surroundings could be very distracting to keeping you alert, busy, and on task. So if we can eliminate these things, then obviously you can focus more. So simple objectives here is turn off your notifications to the phone, disable pop-ups on your computer. On my computer, I have a lot of social media extensions that block and limit things like the newsfeed. So if I jump on to being a business owner myself, if I jump on to do some sort of social media posting, then it's a big challenge for me to be able to get something done in a timely manner if I start scrolling and watching other people's content instead of making my own. You're able to be more assigned, designate your time of focus on your work calendar, making sure that you actually have time to work and not just in meetings. Oftentimes I hear busy professionals go from one meeting to the next, then realizing they have no time to actually do the work from the meetings, and that causes them to be up later or taking more time in their day to accomplish what was needed. Now, if there's no clear goals, if you don't know where you're going, then it's easy to get lost. So we want to make sure that we have clear objectives, clear goals, clear deadlines, clear assignments, clear communication on how to make this happen. Now, if you have too few goals, it's really easy to just kind of be lazy and not get something. Now, if you have too many goals, you could also be lazy and be overwhelmed in a sense and not get a lot done either way. So being very clear on what your goals are and how to accomplish them is super duper important. Procrastination. So why procrastination happens? Well, there's a lack of direction, unpleasant or negative tasks that you don't want to do. You're unclear of X, Y, or Z, or unsure how to find the answers to get that problem solved. It could be something as simple as like grocery shopping. Go into a grocery store without a list. You're going to wander up and down and buy whatever looks or sounds good or is on sale. Another example, writing reports and sending them out. If you don't know what one, if it's like the good old office space TPS report, you're like, yeah, this isn't it. I'm pretty fatigued at doing this. Or there's no clear metrics on what you're doing or what the outcome is, or your boss changes the directive after you spend an hour or two producing something only for all of it to just basically go unnoticed, then you want to procrastinate a lot more. Also, when you do procrastinate, your ability to lower your self-esteem or doubting that you can even get things done starts to stack up. And there might be a fear of failure mixed in this process as well. Oftentimes people don't get started just because of that fear alone, and they don't even give themselves a chance to be successful in the first place, which is not great. If you don't, in my world, if someone's not going to get help after they've tried a dozen different approaches and they're on my doorstep, if they choose to not work with me, they're procrastinating. There's a fear of failure on some level for them. So, now, multitasking. I promise you, as much as we all want to say, hey, I can multitask, it's just a misplaced fallacy. Not many people. There's a study show that even like 2 or 3% of people can effectively multitask. You might think you're multitasking, but ultimately you just don't get as much done that way. So heavy multitaskers are just mentally less organized. They're more likely to be overwhelmed. They struggle between switching from one task to another effectively. It's a harder time differentiating what they need to know in the details that are more relevant or irrelevant in whatever switching tasks that are coming up. And then you have to spend time to reintroduce yourself to that task, the details, and what is going to be the most effective way to move yourself forward. Now, it takes time to switch gears. This is a real thing. Sometimes they'll say it takes 10 or 15 minutes if you get distracted and thrown off track. And that's a real thing, especially in some of our new ways of how we're constantly having a phone in our hand and whatnot. It's really easy to get off track and stay off track for a longer time period because you're occupied or you want to do something else that's not important. You'll make more mistakes too. It's just a default pattern here. So when do you find yourself most unproductive? Well, this is a simple question, and what I have, some people are messaging in now. One, that midday, like 2, 3, 4 o'clock is really unproductive time. And from my observation, talking to a significant amount of people, oftentimes it's a lack of movement throughout the day. There's stress building. There's responsibilities building. There is probably some poor food choices, whether you have a high calorie, carb, fat lunch. There's sweets, treats around the office place. There didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. All of those things will lead to significantly less productive afternoon. Whereas oftentimes if someone's in an office, I'll have them walk for part of their lunch hour. And then they have a lot more energy and focus and productivity in the afternoon. So that's a good one. Now, how do we actually increase productivity here? Well, we can easily track our time. If you give yourself a deadline, like 20 minutes to do something that's realistic, and not you should schedule 30, but you're going to try and do it in 20, that never really works. It depends on like how distracted are you, how well you can concentrate, how easy is the task, how are you allocating your time and your resources in that task. Do you have the supplies necessary or the knowledge base necessary to be able to accomplish a certain task? Do you adhere to the amount of time you set aside? So do you actually just be timely and get it done, or do you procrastinate and put stuff off? And in large companies, it's very easy for people to lose track of time, whether they're socializing too much in the work hour or at the water cooler, so to speak. They're distracted. There's a hard, complicated situation that they don't really are excited about doing. They're waiting for an email response from a coworker that's in a meeting for another 20 minutes. This is all ultimately, unfortunately, wasted time that is less productive. So we want to set realistic deadlines and stay on track. So what does it mean? Then you're going to be more motivated, more excited, more focused to get it done and move on to the next thing. And you'll be able to concentrate at a deeper level to be more effective, efficient, and timely with it. Another way, we can use technology. So by using an app, you can have it help you out. You use the AI now. All these things can help you stay on better track. I know this for years. What gets tracked gets scheduled. And what's important gets scheduled. And what then gets done, the actions taken that get done, get scheduled. And they happen. So we definitely want to allow, more use of abilities to switch between tasks or managing break times and such. But in a day-to-day, best ways to manage, there's a number of different apps. One is Due Time Tracking, any calendar. There's Harvest. There's Top Tracker. There's Rescue Time. All these are different spins on how you're able to get more out of the time that you have and not waste it so much. Now, using commuting time. If you do drive, or you are a passenger, or you're in a public transportation or something like a subway, a bus, something like that, there's a lot of time you can do work while moving your person around. You're able to get to-do lists done, catch up on emails. For me, my text messages are my emails, so I'm constantly answering clients and engaging with them in a variety of different ways to help keep them motivated and moving forward, getting answers that they need to be successful. Easy ways to take a break, meditate, read a novel. All these things are really productive for you to be able to have that time out and then work through it as well. I call this net time. It's not my term, but that's what it's called. No extra time. Net time. Now, certainly, you should just take a break in the day too, or have planned breaks throughout the day that allow you to remain at a high effective efficiency level. So we know that people and workers and employees and even business owners who take breaks are always having better job satisfaction. They're likely to continue working at the same company. They're likely to recommend their employer to others and refer if they have ability to, breathe, catch a breath, manage their situations a little bit better. That's all really helpful for you to stay on track and just enjoy the time while you're at the company doing the work they want you to do. Now, there are numerous benefits to taking a break. Again, you are a human being. You are designed to need breaks. You can't just work endlessly one to the next to the next. It doesn't work and operate that way. Next is creativity boost. So you're able to think better. Space allows for that. Time off allows for that. You have to be able to stop and think about what some of the bigger moves are for you to stay on track. You're also able to manage your mental well-being better. So your headspace is a lot more manageable, a lot more enjoyable, and a lot more enjoying the process of what you're experiencing. Now, a simple way to manage this is a 2-minute rule. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Knock it out. Quick emails, scheduling a meeting, cleaning your desk, getting up, walking, going to the bathroom, get some water, grab a quick snack that's healthy. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do this. So an example, start eating healthier. Well, we can just go grab an apple right now. Writing a proposal, we can start with getting the first 2 sentences written, not just staring at a blank page. You start running in the morning, you put on your shoes and you get up and you go. Those are all ways to be more effective at managing your productivity and time. Now, you can also say no. No is a powerful word. It doesn't have to be a bad word. It can be a well-placed, used word. If you're unable to take on new tasks, you should politely say no. You should encourage, tell your coworker, your employer, that you can assist, but strive for steady and clear tone. You want to just be clear in that communication. So you say, hey, I'm sorry, I have these other projects or agendas that I need to manage, and I will not be able to do that. Don't say yes and then disappoint yourself, disappoint your team, disappoint other people. It's not going to go well for you. Now, how do we stay productive? Well, we need to know our limits and recognize when you're unable to take on new projects. If something's above and beyond, then it's a big challenge for you, okay? You're unable to manage these situations from day to day. And if you exceed your limits, that increases risk of burnout. Now, measuring etiquette. If scheduling a meeting, we want to make sure we're respectful. We have to have a start and an end time. Can't just endlessly go. We have to stay on task so that time is used effectively and efficiently. There has to be takeaways. With AI, there's a lot of, even Zoom has different apps that can come on and have specific outlining of what the main topics were and how they were conveyed throughout the time in that meeting. So you get like a Cliff Notes version, if you know what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, Cliff Notes is just a shortened version of what they used to use and probably still do of books that you'd have to read in high school or college. You'd have Cliff Note versions. So Cliff, I'm not sure if he's a real person, but that was the business name. Cliff would take notes on the outline of the book and tell you what it was about and what was going on and why it was written and all those different insights that you needed to not necessarily have to read the book and then infer everything from it. Now, if you have a meeting, ask if it can be done on video, email, or quick phone call. That might cut down on the times that you actually need to meet with someone. Have a walking meeting. I do this every day. Walk and talk. A great easy way to get a lot more activity in, a lot more movement, and get you going. But for right now, as I'm looking at Zoom and delivering this, I myself am doing a standing meeting. I'm just standing here at my stand-up desk, and I have my computer on a cardboard box, and I am good to go. So that's what I'm doing, and I shift around. It keeps me alert, more active and engaged, and I'm burning calories because I just constantly move this whole time, which is called fidgeting, or what we would say non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT. NEAT's a real thing, and it causes a lot of extra calories to get burned if you're always moving your body. If you're not moving your body, then it's easier to gain weight in a sense because you're burning less calories overall. Now we have creating productive spaces. The environment in which you are in creates an impact on the energy, the motivation, the willpower, and everything that you have. So research shows fitting an office with aesthetic pleasing elements such as plants can increase productivity by up to 15%. That's really good. keeping your desk clear and avoiding all the things that is really important as well. If your desk is cluttered constantly, you're going to be fatigued, tired, it's going to be a mess, it's going to be hard to find stuff. You're going to be doing a lot of other work to keep yourself moving forward there. And decluttering your desk can really free up mental space for you, making you happier, which is wonderful. Like, we want you to be as happy as we can. Now, we need to make your desk a really good atmosphere. So there's plants, there's natural lights, there's pictures, motivational quotes. All these things can use as inspiration to stay productive in your everyday. Right now I'm in my workout space. I have a number of different visual tools. I have the environment set for me to be excited about working out and being able to do that. This is like my main office area too, so I deliver these webinars from it as well. So let's chat. What are some ways that you can be more productive? Well, one person's saying that they can get on board with the walk breaks at lunch, knowing that movement is energy and they're going to allow themselves to be more active and engaged in the second half of their day. Another one talks about packing their lunch so that they're not eating a bunch of high-calorie junk food, in a sense of fast food, and it can keep them a bit more productive. That's excellent. Another person's going to double down on scheduling. They're going to spend more time scheduling their day and their activities and having firm boundaries around that. And then that's the last one's piggybacking on that, is having firm boundaries in their day-to-day is going to allow them to excel in their workplace for themselves. So that's excellent. Now, really excited to talk with you today about productivity. I want to thank you for your time. I hope that you found some really enjoyable ways to be productive yourself and make positive changes in your everyday, so that, life is a journey, not the destination. Life allows you to enjoy the process and keep moving forward there. So I really appreciate your time today. If you have any questions and comments, you can email me and check out the website there, and excited to have you. So thanks so much for coming in.